welcome to my pre-summer book haul. We're heading into summer now, so what I thought I'd do is quickly go through all of the books that I've recently bought and hauled in, because there's a fair stack here and I should probably haul these in before it gets into an absolutely huge thing that I don't do for months. So let's just get right into it. First one to mention is Wish You Were Her by Elle McNicoll, and this is her latest YA contemporary romance, and this is following a young movie star who has shot to fame in the last few years and a bookseller during the Lake Pristine Book Festival. And I'm currently about halfway through at the moment and I am flying through this book. I am really enjoying it. Obviously I'm going to talk about it more in my wrap up at the end of the month, but I am really liking this one. Once again, Elle McNicoll can do no wrong. She is a fantastic author and I am really liking this one. I also have God Killer, and this is by Hannah Kaner, and this was one of my Waypoint Books Full Moon subscription box books that I've gotten in the last few months. And this one, it says, as a child, Kissen, apologies if I mispronounced that, saw her family murdered by a god. Now, gods are forbidden, but they still wander the kingdom demanding worship and sacrifice. Kissen makes a living killing them and enjoys it, until she meets a god she cannot kill. Skedi, again, apologies if I mispronounced that, the god of white lies, has bonded his soul to a young noble girl, and Kissen can't kill him without ending the girl's life. Kissen reluctantly agrees to travel to the ruined city of Blenraden, again, apologies if I mispronounced that, I am dyslexic, I am terrible at pronouncing things, to demand aid from the last wild gods. But the city of gods is no place for a god killer. And this one intrigued me immediately as soon as I saw the synopsis. It kind of reminded me of Gorr the God Butcher from the Thor movies, as well as the Jason Aaron Thor run, which immediately intrigued me because I love the idea of god killers and everything else, and I thought Gorr was absolutely fascinating as a character. So I'm really excited to read this one. I've heard amazing things about it. And also, can we just appreciate the cover, which is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I adore it. Another one I got in my Waypoint Books Full Moon subscription box was Cemetery Boys, and this one is by Aidan Thomas, and this one it says, Yadriel, again, apologies if I mispronounced that, has summoned a ghost and now he can't get rid of him. To gain his family's acceptance, Yadriel has to prove himself a real Brujo by summoning his cousin's ghost. But when he accidentally summons the ghost of his high school's resident bad boy instead, things get complicated. For Julian won't go into death quietly, and the more time Yadriel and Julian spend together, the harder it is to let each other go. And this one I've again heard amazing things about. It was really hyped on BookTube a few years ago. For some reason I never got to it. I am now finally getting to it, and I'm really excited for this one. I think I'm going to read this around October time because it feels very kind of in that spooky feeling, and I am really in the mood for that around October. But either way, it's so excited for this one. It sounds incredible. Another one I got, which was in a really weird sort of twist of fate in a way, is Everybody Wants to Rule the World Except Me by Django Wexler, because I read How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying in the middle of May, I think it was, and absolutely adored it. It very quickly became a brand new favourite of mine. I looked up when the sequel was coming out and it was literally the next week, so I immediately pre-ordered it, and now I am so excited to read this one. I admittedly haven't done it yet because I've been reading Wish You Were Her and Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, but this is the next one on my list for as soon as I have finished Wish You Were Her, and I am so excited about it. If you don't know what this series is about, it's essentially about Darby, who is a girl from our world who's been chucked into this fantasy world and stuck in a time loop for the last 1,000 years, and she's decided, screw this, I'm going to become the Dark Lord and I'm going to die trying. It is absolutely fantastic. I adored the first book so much. The humour was unbelievably on point. It reminded me so much of Terry Pratchett in terms of like the humour, the footnotes and all of this kind of thing, and I am so excited to continue on with the series and finish out the duology because I adore the first one so much, and I'm so desperate to see how it's all going to end, and I cannot wait to read this one, and I cannot believe that I managed to also time this so perfectly to finish the first one for the sequel to come out literally the next week. I cannot believe how well I timed that, I won't lie. Another one I got was Overgrowth by Myra Grant, aka Shauna Maguire, and this one is an alien invasion story. Specifically, we are following our main character who was taken over by an alien at 6 years old and has essentially been sort of planted, for lack of a better word, on Earth to warn everybody that the Armada is coming, and what happens when 30 odd years later the Armada actually arrives. And I really like this one. I really liked how it was this alternate take on alien invasions, because you are in the point of view of someone who has has known that this invasion is coming. She knows what's going to be happening. She's been warning everyone for years now, and how that is now affecting her life and what goes on now that the Armada is actually here. I really like that element of this one. I also really like the body horror of this one as well. It's not something that generally freaks me out or anything else, but I did really appreciate how creepy it was throughout this book, and I just generally really like this one. Again, Shauna Maguire / Myra Grant is an absolutely fantastic writer, and I really enjoyed this one when I read it last month. Next up is The Ashfire King. This is by Chelsea Abdullah, and it is the sequel to The Stardust Thief, which is the second one in the Sandsea trilogy. So I can't really tell you what this one's about specifically, because obviously that would spoil the first one, but the first one was about stories and gin and all of this kind of thing. I absolutely loved it when I read it, and I immediately pre-ordered the second one as soon as it was available to pre-order, and now it's finally in my house. I admittedly have not read it yet, but I'm so excited to. And also, again, can we just appreciate the cover and the back cover on this, because it is absolutely stunning and I cannot wait to read this. One that was actually gifted to me by my cousin because she was unhauling it is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, and this one, it says, vengeance is a promise signed in blood, but the princess believed the blood of the dragon flowed through her. The dragons were her kin, and there was not a line she wouldn't cross to liberate her family, which immediately intrigued me. Also, again, the cover is absolutely stunning with all that foiling. This is the back of it, and I mean, I do not read enough dragon stories. This one is a dragon story. She was unhauling it. I happily took it off her hands, and now I am so intrigued to read this one as soon as I get 5 minutes. One that I just finished reading is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, and oh my god, was this good. I mean, I'm not going to give you too much details because obviously I'm going to be talking about this more in a wrap up in the next couple of weeks or so, but oh my god, was this good. This absolutely delivered on toxic lesbian vampires. It delivered on the Interview with the Vampire vibes. It was absolutely incredible, and I mean, it tells you something when I say that this is an absolute chunker of a book, and I read it in 2.5 days because I could not put it down because it was incredible. I adored every single second of it. It is a brand new favourite. I absolutely adored it, and just, it was so good. It was so unbelievably good. I've been waiting for this book for like 6 months now. Oh, actually, ever since it was announced, I've been waiting for it. I finally got it, and oh my god, it was so worth the wait. It was 100% worth the wait. I loved it. I then also got 2 books on Kobo, and I apologise right now because I am going to forget the title or the author on both of these, just because I'm currently filming on my phone, so I cannot look it up right now because my camera is currently filled with vlog footage for my villains reading vlog, where I read things like How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, so I have no more room on there, so I'm having to use my phone. But it was something like the Princess Protection Program. Either way, the cover will be here or here depending on which side I put it on, so you can see it for yourself. But this one is following the idea of what happens when happily ever after in a fairy tale is not actually happily ever after at all, and what happens then. And it sounded amazing. Again, I've heard amazing reviews about this one, so as soon as it went on sale, I picked it up. And then the other one I got was the sequel to Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, and I can remember it's by Juno Dawson, but I can't remember. Is it called The Shadow Cabinet? I think it's called The Shadow Cabinet. Either way, it's the sequel to Her Majesty's Royal Coven, and I adored that first book so much. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's following a coven of witches who have all worked for HMRC at some point and have now splintered off either to go out on their own or into other covens, and what happens when a threat called Leviathan turns up and how they all react to it. I really love the first one. So when this sequel went on sale, I definitely picked it up again, and I'm really excited to read this one as well. It sounds incredible, and I am so excited to continue on with the series. And then everything else is comics, so the first thing I need to mention is issues 2, 3 and 4 of Doctor Strange in Asgard by Derek Landy, which is the latest Doctor Strange run, which sees Doctor Strange dealing with the fact that he's now not Sorcerer Supreme because Doctor Doom has taken over that title in the World Under Doom event, which is currently ongoing, and what happens when he tries to go to Asgard to essentially become their Sorcerer Supreme, and then a murder happens and he's got to try and solve it before Thor and everybody else finds out about it. And I will say I'm a little bit biased towards this series because it is Doctor Strange. He is teaming up with Loki on and off throughout the series, and it is written by Derek Landy, who is one of my all-time favourite authors ever. But this is genuinely so much fun. I am loving unravelling the murder mystery of this. I'm loving seeing Doctor Strange on the back foot as well, because he's usually reasonably in control of what's going on around him, so it's really interesting to see him basically being on the back foot and trying to figure out what to do next. I'm loving seeing him team up with Loki as well, which is always a good time. I love seeing those two team up together. It's always one of my favourite things to read about or see or anything else. So I am just loving this series so much, and I'm so excited for the final one to come out. It's kind of sad as well because it means the series is over and I really don't want it to end. There was also Skyward by Joe Henderson, Volume 3, and this one is actually the final one in the series, which I didn't realise going into it, so it was really nice to actually tick off another series off the list without actually realising I was doing it. But anyway, this one is a series where essentially a few years ago now gravity shifted, and we aren't living on an Earth where gravity is a lot lighter, and it means that everybody is kind of floating around and all of this kind of thing. And I really love this series. I obviously can't give you any more detail about this volume specifically, because it would be giving away spoilers, but I did really like how this rounded up the series. I really liked how it left it on a hopeful note, and I just generally really like this one. And the artwork in here was also really nice. It looks like this on the inside, so really liked it. Really glad I read it, and really glad that I managed to tick off another one from the list, which I didn't mean to do, but glad I did anyway. And then the final thing to mention is At the End of Your Tether by Adam Smith, and this one is a little spooky mystery type thing, because it says it's a humid summer night in 1997 and Ludo Kerr is nervous. He hasn't seen or spoken to his ex, Arlo Quinones, again apologies if I mispronounced that, since he was 15. Now he's returning home and is about to be reunited with the only person he really connected with in his youth. The night before he arrives, Ludo calls her to ease his nerves. Big laughs and a familiar cadence in Arlo's voice don't just calm him down, they make him excited to see her. That excitement only hurts more when he shows up the next day to find that Arlo has been missing for over a week. Gone without a trace, the girl he once knew everything about is now a mystery. Determined to find her, Ludo takes things into his own hands, but the further he gets into his investigation, the more he questions how well anyone on base in town, and even he himself, really knew her. Where is his best friend and who is she? And this was one of the latest Waypoint Books subscription box picks as well, alongside actually Skyward. And as soon as I read that synopsis, it immediately intrigued me. The artwork in here also looks like this on the inside, and I am really intrigued by this one, and I'm really excited to read it around that kind of spooky October season. And that is all of the books that I wanted to haul in, so I'm going to leave it here because it is currently the hottest day of the year and I am desperate to get a fan on me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me a book you bought recently, I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a book stack emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to my Bookish Etsy store if you want to treat yourself to something bookish today. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. Until next time everyone, bye!